The Martian dust swirled in gentle eddies, disturbed only by the soft hum of the research base's external units. Mars Base Alpha, humanity's farthest outpost, was a beacon of exploration and scientific achievement nestled in the barren, rust-colored landscape. The base, a collection of domed structures interconnected by pressurized tunnels, housed the best and brightest from Earth. Here, in this desolate expanse, humanity's thirst for knowledge pushed the boundaries of the known universe. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the base's lead astrophysicist, was monitoring the night sky when the anomaly appeared. A flicker in the dark, a blip on the screen that wasn't a star or satellite. The anomaly grew, resolved into a shape that defied logic and expectation. A vessel, sleek and gleaming, unmistakably alien. The base erupted into a flurry of activity. Scientists and engineers gathered, watching the monitors in disbelief as the alien ship descended, touching down with a grace that belied its size. The Threxians had arrived, and with them, the future unfurled. A future of possibilities and, hidden beneath layers of diplomatic pleasantries, a shadow of threat. The Threxians were unlike any imagined alien. Bipedal, yes, but with skin that shimmered with a metallic sheen, eyes that glowed softly, and an aura of serene confidence. They communicated through a device that translated their thoughts directly into English, a testament to their advanced technology. "We come in peace," they declared, their voice a chorus of harmony and strength. "We wish to share our knowledge and learn from you." The initial meetings were a whirlwind of exchange. The Threxians offered insights into their technology, hints of faster-than-light travel, and advancements in medicine and energy that could transform life on Earth. Humanity, in return, shared its own achievements and the richness of its cultures. An alliance seemed not just possible but inevitable, a joining of civilizations for the mutual benefit of both. But Dr. Vasquez couldn't shake off a gnawing suspicion, an intuition honed by years of deciphering the secrets of the cosmos. The Threxians, for all their openness, were guarded about their military capabilities and strategic interests. Their vessel, parked on the Martian plains, was a marvel of engineering, sleek and seemingly unarmed, yet it hinted at technologies far beyond human comprehension. As weeks turned to months, the Threxians' true intentions began to crystallize. Their interest in Earth's military capabilities, veiled under diplomatic niceties, became more pronounced. They inquired about Earth's defenses, the extent of its nuclear arsenal, and the details of its spacefaring capabilities. Each question was posed with a smile, an assurance of peaceful intentions, but the underlying calculation was clear. The breaking point came unexpectedly. A group of Threxian scientists, under the guise of a technological exchange, attempted to access the base's secure military communications. The intrusion was thwarted, but the message was unmistakable. The Threxians were not just scholars and diplomats. They were scouts, assessing Earth's defenses, weighing the cost of conquest. Dr. Vasquez, once an advocate for open exchange with the Threxians, now faced a grim realization. Humanity stood on the precipice of a conflict that spanned the stars. The dream of a peaceful cosmic partnership had evaporated, leaving behind the stark reality of a looming threat. Mars Base Alpha, once a symbol of human ambition and curiosity, had become the front line of an impending struggle. The Threxians, with their serene smiles and talk of peace, had revealed their hand. Humanity was not just a civilization to befriend, it was a prize to be claimed. As the Threxian vessel lifted off from Martian soil, leaving behind a base on high alert, Dr. Vasquez looked up at the stars. The cosmos, once a realm of wonder and discovery, now held a darker promise. The first contact had been made, and with it, the first move in a chess game that spanned the heavens. Humanity was under no illusions. The war for Earth's future had begun in the silence of space, with Mars as its silent witness. The world stood on the brink, the calm before the storm personified. News of the Threxians' departure from Mars Base Alpha spread like wildfire, igniting a mixture of fear, anger, and defiant resolve across the globe. The revelation of their attempted breach into military communications shattered any illusions of peaceful intentions. World leaders, once optimistic about the prospect of joining a galactic community, now faced the grim reality of an impending threat. In an unprecedented display of unity, the United Nations convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation, even those historically at odds, came together. The air was thick with tension, a reflection of the gravity of the situation. It was during this assembly of the world's nations that the Threxians made their next move. Without warning, the sky darkened as a massive Threxian fleet materialized in Earth's orbit. The sleek, silver vessels that had once inspired awe on Mars now cast a shadow over the Earth, a tangible reminder of the alien threat. A global broadcast ensued, the Threxians' message clear and unambiguous, their harmonious voices chilling in their calmness. People of Earth, we have come to offer you a choice. Join us and become part of our empire, or refuse and face annihilation. You have 48 hours to surrender unconditionally, resist, and your cities will burn. We await your decision. The ultimatum sent shockwaves through the global community. Panic ensued as citizens feared for the future, but amidst the chaos, a different sentiment began to take root, a stubborn, fierce resolve. Humanity would not bow down to the Threxian demands. Emergency meetings were convened, with military leaders and heads of state working around the clock to formulate a response. Cyber defenses were bolstered, and satellite networks were scrambled to disrupt the Threxians' communication. The world's nuclear arsenals, long symbols of a bygone era of human conflict, were readied, not against each other, but against a common enemy. In secret labs and military bases, weapons were hastily adapted to face this new threat. Experimental technologies, once deemed too dangerous or unstable, were now considered vital to Earth's defense. Scientists and engineers worked alongside soldiers, a testament to humanity's indomitable spirit. As the deadline approached, a collective decision emerged. Humanity would stand its ground. The United Nations issued a response, broadcast globally and aimed at the Threxian fleet. We, the people of Earth, united as one, reject your ultimatum. We will not surrender. We will not become part of your empire. We choose to stand and fight for our freedom, for our planet. We are ready to defend our home, whatever the cost. The response was a declaration of war, the first time humanity stood united against an external threat. The world braced for the Threxians' next move, cities darkened under emergency protocols, and military forces deployed in anticipation of the invasion. Families huddled together, finding comfort in unity, while soldiers prepared for battle, their resolve hardened by the knowledge of what was at stake. Monuments and buildings, symbols of human achievement, stood silent witness to the planet's defiance. The Threxians, unmoved by the display of unity, began their advance. The first wave of their fleet descended towards Earth, a silent, ominous herald of the coming storm. As the 48-hour deadline expired, the world held its breath. The battle for Earth's future was about to begin, a battle not just for survival, but for the very essence of what it meant to be human. The Threxian ultimatum had been rejected, and in its place, a new chapter of human history was being written, one of unity, courage, and the indomitable will to fight for freedom. The first light of dawn graced the horizon, a symbol of hope on the darkest day humanity had faced. The Threxian fleet, a menacing silhouette against the morning sky, began its descent. Their targets were Earth's major military bases and cities, a strategic move to cripple humanity's ability to fight back. But Earth was not unprepared. The moment of unity at the United Nations had sparked a global mobilization unseen in history. Across continents, from the plains of Africa to the cities of Asia, Europe, and the Americas, humanity's armies stood ready. The air was electric with tension and determination. Soldiers, seasoned and new, stood side by side, weapons at the ready, eyes skyward. They were not alone. Civilians trained in emergency militias stood with them, a testament to humanity's resolve. The Threxians struck first in Asia, a blitzkrieg of aerial assaults on military installations, but they were met with resistance fiercer than they could have anticipated. Anti-aircraft fire lit up the sky, a dazzling display of defiance. Drones, repurposed from surveillance to combat, swarmed Threxian fighters, a buzzing horde that surprised the invaders with their agility and ferocity. Europe followed, its ancient cities now the backdrop for a new kind of warfare. Laser defense systems, a technology in its infancy on Earth, proved effective against Threxian shields, piercing the alien armada with beams of concentrated light. The streets of Paris, Rome, and Berlin became trenches, the civilians fighting alongside soldiers, utilizing guerrilla tactics that turned the urban landscape into a labyrinth of death for the invaders. In the United States, the Threxians encountered a populace armed and ready. The Second Amendment, a subject of much debate in peacetime, became a lifeline in war. Every citizen was a soldier, every home a bunker. The skies above New York and Los Angeles became theaters of war, as jets engaged in dogfights with Threxian fighters, a high-stakes dance of death. The turning point came at sea. The Threxians, unfamiliar with Earth's vast oceans, launched an amphibious assault, aiming to secure coastal cities. What they found instead was a trap. Submarines, silent shadows beneath the waves, unleashed torpedoes with precision, sinking Threxian aquatic units. Naval battles, a blend of traditional firepower and cutting-edge technology, stalled the alien advance, giving humanity a glimmer of hope. Africa and South America, continents with vast stretches of rugged terrain, became fortresses. The jungles and deserts, challenging for any invader, were deadly to the Threxians. Guerrilla fighters, using knowledge of the land passed down through generations, ambushed alien patrols, disappearing like ghosts after each strike. Amidst the chaos, a global network of communication kept the resistance alive. Satellites, hidden from Threxian detection, relayed messages and intelligence. The Internet, a web of information and unity, became a tool of war. Social media, once a platform for sharing moments of life, now broadcast live feeds of battles, rallying cries and messages of hope. The initial Threxian assault, expected to be a swift and decisive blow, had turned into a quagmire. Each victory was paid for with blood, each defeat a lesson learned. The invaders had underestimated humanity's willingness to fight, to adapt, and to unite in the face of extinction. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, the world lay battered but unbroken. Cities were damaged, lives were lost, but the spirit of humanity burned brighter than ever. The Threxians had expected to face a divided, technologically inferior species. Instead, they encountered a united front, a civilization willing to fight to the last to protect their home. The defense of Earth had begun, not with a whimper, but with a roar that echoed across the planet, a clear message to the invaders. Humanity would not go gently into that good night. As dawn broke over the Atlantic, the ocean transformed into a battleground of epic proportions. The Threxians, regrouping after their initial setbacks, launched a concerted effort to seize control of the seas, aiming to cut off the transatlantic communication and supply lines that were crucial for the Earth's defense. The waters, once pathways of commerce and exploration, now bore the weight of humanity's survival. Admiral Sarah Jennings, commanding the Allied naval forces, faced the alien threat with a calm determination. Under her command, a fleet of submarines, destroyers, and aircraft carriers formed a formidable line of defense. The strategy was clear. Use the depth of the ocean and the agility of the naval forces to their advantage, turning the vastness of the Atlantic into a trap for the Threxian aquatic units. The Threxians advanced with their characteristic precision, their sleek vessels cutting through the waves, unaware of the trap that awaited them. Humanity's first move was a feint, a series of surface skirmishes designed to draw the aliens further into the Atlantic. The Threxians took the bait, their confidence turning into recklessness as they pursued the retreating human ships. Hidden beneath the waves, Earth's submarines awaited the signal. When the Threxian fleet was sufficiently deep into the trap, Admiral Jennings gave the order. The ocean erupted into chaos as torpedoes and underwater drones launched a coordinated attack. The Threxians, caught off guard, scrambled to respond, their technological superiority challenged by human ingenuity and the unpredictable nature of underwater combat. Above the surface, the battle raged on. Aircraft from nearby carriers swooped down, launching precision strikes against the Threxian vessels. The sky was alight with the crisscross of laser fire and the contrails of jets and alien fighters locked in aerial combat. Each explosion, each downed Threxian craft, was a testament to the skill and bravery of the pilots who risked everything in the sky's deadly dance. The turning point came when a squadron of experimental drones, equipped with advanced EMP technology, plunged into the heart of the Threxian formation. The electromagnetic pulse that followed disabled the aliens' shielding on several ships, leaving them vulnerable. Human forces seized the opportunity, unleashing a barrage of firepower that decimated the exposed Threxian units. Beneath the ocean's surface, the battle was equally fierce. Submarine commanders engaged in a deadly game of cat and mouse, using the ocean's topography to outmaneuver the alien pursuers. The silent, dark world below the waves became a theater of destruction, as Threxian vessels, unaccustomed to Earth's complex underwater terrain, fell prey to the coordinated attacks of human subs. As the sun set over the Atlantic, the waters calmed, but the cost of the battle was evident. The ocean was littered with the wreckage of Threxian and human craft alike, a somber reminder of the day's sacrifices. Yet amidst the loss there was victory. The Threxian attempt to dominate the Atlantic had been thwarted, their advance halted by the courage and cunning of Earth's defenders. Admiral Jennings, surveying the aftermath from the bridge of her flagship, felt a mix of sorrow and pride. The battle had proven that humanity could stand up to the Threxian threat, but the war was far from over. The Atlantic, now a graveyard of ships and soldiers from both sides, was also a line in the sand. Earth's forces had sent a clear message. They would fight for every inch of their planet, every sea and every sky. The Battle of the Atlantic was not just a victory in a war for survival. It was a declaration of humanity's unyielding spirit. As news of the battle spread, it became a beacon of hope for a world under siege, a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humanity would persevere. The city that never sleeps found itself under the shadow of an unprecedented threat. New York, a symbol of human resilience and diversity, became the focal point of the Threxian invasion. Their strategy was clear: capture one of Earth's iconic metropolises and demoralize the resistance. However, the Threxians underestimated the indomitable spirit of its inhabitants and the strategic importance the city held for Earth's defense. In the hours leading up to the siege, New York transformed. Civilians, alongside military personnel, fortified the streets, turning skyscrapers into fortresses and parks into minefields. The underground, once the lifeblood of the city's commute, became a network of escape routes and ambush points. The city's iconic landmarks, from the Statue of Liberty to Central Park, were no longer just symbols of freedom and nature, but bastions of human defiance. Lieutenant Colonel Maria Gonzalez, tasked with the defense of New York, coordinated the city's transformation. Utilizing every available resource, from construction equipment to the subway trains, she orchestrated a defense that would utilize the urban environment to its fullest. Drones, both commercial and military, filled the skies, providing surveillance and engaging enemy targets. As the Threxian forces descended upon the city, they were met with a barrage of fire. Rooftop snipers, anti-aircraft missiles, and improvised explosive devices halted their initial advance. The wide avenues became killing fields, lined with barricades and traps. The Threxians, for all their technological might, found themselves bogged down in street-to-street fighting, a type of warfare for which they were ill-prepared. The heart of the battle centered around Times Square, where a massive Threxian war machine landed, its intent to serve as a beachhead for the invading forces. What it met, however, was the full fury of New York's defenders. An alliance of soldiers, police officers, and armed civilians launched a daring counterattack, utilizing the dense urban environment to their advantage. Explosives were detonated beneath the war machine, while sharpshooters targeted its sensors and weapons, blinding and crippling it. Meanwhile, in the subways below, skirmishes erupted in the dark tunnels. The Threxians, attempting to use the underground to flank the defenders, were ambushed by resistance fighters. The close quarters favored the humans, who knew every inch of the system, turning the subways into a labyrinthine trap. As the battle raged, a group of engineers and hackers worked tirelessly in a secured bunker beneath the city. Their mission was to disrupt the Threxians' communication, making it impossible for the invaders to coordinate their assault effectively. Their efforts paid off, causing chaos in the alien ranks and giving the defenders a critical edge. Despite the ferocity of the human defense, the Threxians continued to push forward, their numbers seemingly endless. But for every block they took, they paid a steep price. The defenders of New York, though outnumbered, fought with a desperation and creativity that turned the tide in numerous engagements. The siege stretched on, each day a testament to the courage of the city's defenders. Airdrops of supplies and reinforcements managed to slip through the Threxian blockade, bolstering the resistance and fueling the fight. The city, scarred by the conflict, became a symbol of Earth's resistance, a beacon of hope that despite the odds, humanity would not yield. The siege of New York ended not with a decisive victory, but with a strategic withdrawal by the Threxians. They had underestimated the cost of urban warfare and the resolve of human defenders. New York remained free, its skyline battered but unbroken, a testament to the bravery and sacrifice of those who defended it. The battle for New York was a turning point, proving that humanity could hold its ground against the invaders. It showed the world that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit was indomitable. The city's defense laid the groundwork for a new phase in the war, one where Earth's forces could go from defending their soil to taking the fight to the Threxians. In the aftermath of the siege of New York, a bold plan was hatched by the newly formed Earth Defense Command, EDC, a coalition of the world's best military minds and strategic thinkers. The Threxians had shown vulnerabilities, particularly in their reliance on centralized command structures for coordination. It was time for humanity to take the fight to the enemy. The target, a Threxian mothership orbiting Earth, serving as both a command hub and a forward operating base for the invasion force. Major Alexei Petrov, a seasoned special operations commander, was chosen to lead the mission. His team, a diverse group of elite soldiers from various countries, trained in the use of captured Threxian technology. The plan was audacious: infiltrate the mothership, disable its command center, and sow chaos in the Threxian ranks. The operation began under the cover of darkness. A small, stealth-modified shuttle, its design inspired by Threxian technology, carried the team into space. The shuttle's approach was masked by the debris field orbiting Earth, remnants of the initial Threxian assault and humanity's desperate defense. As they neared the mothership, the gravity of their mission weighed heavily on the team. Success could turn the tide of the war, but failure would mean certain death. The shuttle docked silently with the alien vessel, undetected by its sensors, hacked using Threxian codes obtained from previous engagements. Inside the mothership, the team encountered a world unlike anything on Earth. The architecture was alien, the gravity artificially manipulated, and the atmosphere a carefully balanced mix not quite comfortable for human lungs. They relied on their training and the element of surprise, moving quickly and quietly through the corridors. The command center was heavily guarded, a testament to its importance. The team engaged in a fierce firefight, their weapons echoing through the alien halls. Petrov and his team utilized their knowledge of Threxian technology, turning the ship's automated defense systems against its own inhabitants. In the heart of the mothership, they found the command center, a vast chamber filled with holographic displays and strange, pulsating machinery. The team planted a series of explosive charges and electronic warfare devices designed to disrupt the Threxians' communication network. As they fought their way back to the shuttle, the charges detonated. The explosion rocked the mothership, sending shockwaves throughout its structure. The electronic warfare devices kicked in, scrambling the Threxians' communications and leaving their ground forces on Earth in disarray. The shuttle broke away from the mothership as it began to list, its internal systems failing. Around the globe, Threxian forces faltered, their coordinated attacks breaking down into confusion. The mission, against all odds, was a success. News of the daring raid spread like wildfire, a beacon of hope in humanity's darkest hour. The destruction of the mothership's command center was more than a military victory. It was a symbol. It showed that the Threxians were not invincible, that humanity could strike back, and that the tide of war could be turned. The counterattack was a turning point in the war. Earth's forces, emboldened by the success of the raid, began to push back with renewed vigor. The Threxians, for the first time, were on the defensive, struggling to adapt to the loss of their command and control capabilities. Major Petrov and his team returned as heroes, their names etched in history alongside the greatest defenders of humanity. The raid on the Threxian mothership was not just a mission. It was the spark that ignited the flame of resistance across the planet, a flame that would burn brightly in the dark night of war. The successful raid on the Threxian mothership marked the beginning of humanity's offensive phase in the war. Emboldened by their newfound momentum, Earth's leaders convened to plan the next most daring operation yet, a direct assault on the Threxian homeworld. This audacious strategy aimed to exploit the confusion sown by the disruption of the Threxian command network, delivering a critical blow that could end the war. General Ava Singh, appointed as the commander of the Interstellar Expeditionary Force, faced the monumental task of leading this unprecedented mission. The force comprised elite units from across the globe, equipped with the latest technology reverse-engineered from captured Threxian equipment. Their mission was clear: infiltrate the Threxian homeworld, destroy key military assets, and, if possible, capture Threxian leaders to force a ceasefire. The journey to the Threxian homeworld was fraught with peril. The fleet, a patchwork armada of modified human spacecraft and commandeered Threxian vessels, navigated through wormholes and avoided detection by Threxian patrols. Their approach was stealthy, leveraging the chaos still rippling through the Threxian ranks from the loss of their command center. Upon arrival, the human force was greeted by a planet starkly different from Earth. The Threxian homeworld was a fortress planet, its landscapes dominated by massive military installations and sprawling urban centers, all under the shadow of towering defense structures. The atmosphere was tense as the fleet descended, knowing that the element of surprise was their greatest weapon. The initial phase of the operation focused on strategic strikes against Threxian military bases and energy reserves. Squadrons of fighters, piloted by the best of Earth's Air Force, darted through the alien sky, engaging Threxian defenders with a ferocity that echoed the desperation of their cause. Ground forces, deploying from stealth transports, secured key installations, using the Threxians' own weapons against them. One of the most pivotal moments of the assault came when a special operations team, led by Major Petrov, infiltrated a Threxian command post. Their objective was to capture a high-ranking Threxian officer, hoping to gain valuable intelligence and leverage for negotiations. The operation was perilous, but the team executed it flawlessly, securing the officer and extracting him before Threxian reinforcements could respond. As battles raged across the planet, the Threxians found themselves fighting a war on their soil for the first time in their history. The shock and disarray among the Threxian populace were palpable, their invincible military machine challenged by an enemy they had underestimated. Meanwhile, on Earth, news of the assault on the Threxian homeworld sparked celebrations and renewed hope. People across the globe watched in awe as images and reports of the battle flooded in, showcasing the bravery and ingenuity of Earth's forces. However, the operation on the Threxian homeworld was not without its costs. Every victory came with sacrifices, as human soldiers and pilots gave their lives on alien soil. The harsh reality of war was ever present, a reminder of the stakes involved in their fight for freedom. In the end, the assault on the Threxian homeworld achieved its objectives, significantly weakening the Threxian military infrastructure and capturing valuable intelligence that would prove crucial in the ongoing war. The captured Threxian officer, under interrogation, revealed vulnerabilities in the Threxian defenses and provided insight into their strategic planning. The operation was a testament to human resilience and determination. It proved that even in the face of a technologically superior foe, courage and unity could prevail. The assault on the Threxian homeworld was not just a military operation, it was a statement. Humanity would not be conquered, and they would fight to the last to protect their home and way of life. Following the audacious assault on the Threxian homeworld, Earth's military strategists turned their focus to exploiting the newfound vulnerabilities uncovered in the Threxian defenses. The key to their strategy was a piece of intelligence obtained during the operation, the existence of a centralized network that controlled the Threxian war machines, a network that, if disrupted, could paralyze their invasion forces. Dr. Lena Zhou, a leading expert in cyber warfare and alien technology, spearheaded the development of a virus specifically designed to infiltrate and disable the Threxian control network. The virus, codenamed Odysseus, was a masterpiece of coding and reverse engineering, incorporating Threxian technology to navigate and exploit the weaknesses in their system. The deployment of Odysseus required a coordinated global effort. Special operations teams equipped with the virus were dispatched to key points around the world where Threxian infrastructure was most concentrated. Their mission? To infiltrate these sites and transmit the virus directly into the network. The first sign that Odysseus was successful came from the European front. Threxian war machines, mid-assault on a fortified position, suddenly froze, their systems locked in an endless loop. Across the globe, similar reports flooded in. Drones fell from the sky, tanks halted mid-advance, and alien artillery went silent. The Threxian invasion force, for the first time, appeared vulnerable, their invincibility shattered by human ingenuity. The tide of the war began to turn. With their war machines disabled, the Threxians were forced into a defensive position. Human forces, emboldened by this unexpected advantage, launched counter-assaults, reclaiming territories that had been lost in the early days of the invasion. The momentum of the war shifted, with Earth's defenders now on the offensive. The impact of Odysseus went beyond the battlefield. Among the Threxians, confusion and dissent spread. Accustomed to the absolute control and precision of their war efforts, the disruption caused by the virus sowed chaos within their ranks. Reports of Threxian units retreating or even surrendering to human forces began to emerge, a sign of the crumbling morale among the invaders. As Earth's forces pressed their advantage, a global broadcast was made, featuring leaders from the newly liberated territories alongside General Ava Singh and Dr. Lena Zhou. They announced the success of Odysseus and issued a call to arms for the remaining occupied regions of Earth, encouraging resistance movements to rise up and strike while the Threxians were weakened. The broadcast served as a rallying cry, inspiring acts of bravery and resistance across the planet. In cities still under Threxian control, uprisings erupted, civilians and soldiers alike taking to the streets in defiance of their alien oppressors. The spirit of resistance, fueled by the hope of victory, spread like wildfire, further destabilizing the Threxian grip on Earth. Meanwhile, diplomatic channels opened for the first time since the invasion began. The Threxians, recognizing the threat posed by the unified and resurgent human forces, signaled their willingness to negotiate. The Earth Defense Command, wary but determined to end the conflict, agreed to talks, setting the stage for a potential ceasefire. The turning point of the war had been reached, not just through military might, but through the resilience, creativity, and unity of humanity. The success of Operation Odysseus marked the beginning of the end for the Threxian invasion, a testament to the indomitable spirit of Earth's defenders. The path to peace was still fraught with challenges, but for the first time since the invasion began, there was hope, a hope born from the ashes of war, lighting the way toward a future free from the shadow of Threxian domination. In the wake of Operation Odysseus's success, the Threxians found themselves reeling from the unexpected ferocity and ingenuity of Earth's countermeasures. The disabling of their war machines had not only halted their advance, but had also sparked a wave of resistance across the planet, undermining their control. Faced with growing dissent within their ranks and increasing pressure from Earth's unified defense forces, the Threxian High Command made a desperate decision: to launch a final, all-out assault on Earth, targeting its most defended and symbolic locations in a bid to break the human spirit once and for all. The target of this final assault was Geneva, Switzerland, chosen for its symbolic status as a place of peace and diplomacy on Earth. It was also the location where the Earth Defense Command, EDC, had established its temporary headquarters, coordinating the global resistance effort. The Threxians believed that a decisive blow here could turn the tide of the war back in their favor. General Ava Singh, aware of the impending assault through intelligence gathered from captured Threxian communicators, prepared Geneva's defenses. The city transformed overnight, its historic neutrality giving way to the necessities of war. Buildings were fortified, anti-air defenses were erected, and the population was evacuated to underground shelters. A multinational force, representing the unity of Earth's defenders, was amassed, ready to face the Threxians in what was anticipated to be the largest battle of the invasion. The Threxian assault began at dawn, with a barrage of energy projectiles from orbit, testing Geneva's defenses and attempting to create breaches for their ground forces. Earth's defenses held firm. The anti-air systems, enhanced by Threxian technology from previous engagements, effectively neutralized the bombardment. As the ground assault commenced, Threxian troops, supplemented by heavy war machines that had been shielded from the effects of Odysseus, advanced on the city. The battle was fierce, with human forces utilizing guerrilla tactics and the urban environment to their advantage. The streets of Geneva, lined with history and diplomacy, became avenues of resistance, as soldiers and modified drones engaged the invaders in intense combat. Major Alexei Petrov, leading a contingent of special forces, executed a series of daring raids on Threxian command units, further disrupting their coordination. Meanwhile, Dr. Lena Zhou, operating from the EDC headquarters, managed to infiltrate the Threxian communication network, sending false orders and sowing confusion among their ranks. The turning point came when a squadron of human pilots, flying craft reverse-engineered from Threxian technology, breached the Threxian orbital blockade, targeting the motherships that loomed over Geneva. Their mission was to cut off the ground forces from their orbital support, a risky maneuver that required flying into the teeth of the Threxian fleet's defenses. The operation was a success, significantly reducing the effectiveness of the Threxian ground assault and demonstrating the growing prowess of Earth's military capabilities. As the battle raged into the night, the tide turned in favor of Earth's defenders. The Threxians, struggling with disrupted command structures and facing fierce resistance, began to falter. The final blow was struck when a combined force of human infantry and armored units, in a display of unprecedented coordination and bravery, managed to encircle and neutralize the remaining Threxian forces within the city. The Battle of Geneva was a decisive victory for Earth. It demonstrated not only the tactical and technological advances of humanity, but also the unbreakable spirit of its people. The Threxians, facing defeat and with their invasion force in disarray, had no choice but to retreat. In the aftermath, Geneva stood battered but unbroken, a testament to the resilience of its defenders and the city's symbolic status as a beacon of hope and unity. The final stand in Geneva marked the turning point in the war, signaling the beginning of the end for the Threxian invasion and the dawn of a new era for humanity. The dust settled on the battlegrounds of Geneva, the silence a stark contrast to the cacophony of war that had echoed through its streets. The Threxians, once a seemingly invincible force, had been decisively defeated. Their final stand, intended to shatter the resolve of Earth's defenders, instead became their undoing. In the days following the battle, the remaining Threxian forces, now leaderless and scattered, either surrendered or were neutralized by Earth's unified military efforts. General Ava Singh, standing before the ruins of the Earth Defense Command's headquarters in Geneva, addressed the world. Her speech, broadcasted globally, was not just a declaration of victory, but a testament to human resilience and unity. We stood together as one people and faced down extinction. Today, we celebrate not just our survival, but our triumph. The aftermath of the war saw a world forever changed. Cities lay in ruins, and millions had paid the ultimate price. The cost of victory was high, a somber reminder of the fragility of peace and the price of freedom. Yet, amidst the devastation, there was hope. The war had brought humanity together like never before, dissolving old rivalries and forging new alliances. The Earth Defense Command, initially a temporary coalition, became a permanent institution dedicated to safeguarding the planet and fostering cooperation among nations. The Threxian threat had also accelerated human technological advancement. Captured alien technology, combined with human ingenuity, spurred a new era of innovation. Energy production, medical science, and space travel benefited from these advances, promising a brighter future for all. The captured Threxian officer, whose intelligence had been crucial in turning the tide of the war, was instrumental in the post-war negotiations. Through him, humanity reached out to the Threxians, offering peace and a chance for coexistence. The Threxians, humbled by their defeat and the unexpected mercy shown by humans, agreed to a ceasefire. A peace treaty was signed, ending hostilities and establishing a framework for interstellar relations. The war had shown that even in the vastness of the cosmos, understanding and compassion could bridge the divide between worlds. Memorials were erected in cities around the globe, honoring the fallen. These sites became places of reflection, reminding future generations of the cost of war and the value of peace. The heroes of the war, from General Singh to Major Petrov, Dr. Joe, and countless others, were celebrated, their names etched into history. As Earth rebuilt, the lessons of the war shaped its path forward. The unity forged in the crucible of conflict became the cornerstone of a new world order, one based on cooperation and mutual respect. Humanity looked to the stars not as a realm of conquest, but as a frontier of possibility, a vast expanse to explore and learn from, together. The victory against the Threxians was not just a military triumph, it was a victory for the human spirit. It proved that when faced with the unimaginable, humanity could rise, united and indomitable. The war had ended, but the journey of rebuilding and moving forward together was just beginning. And so, the story of humanity's defense against the Threxians became a legend, a reminder of what could be achieved when the world stands as one. The scars of the war would fade with time, but its legacy would endure, a beacon of hope for the future, illuminating the path towards a peaceful and prosperous tomorrow.